Chapter 7 of Baby Moll by John Farris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 7. A woman was asleep on my bed when I opened the door of the room. Apparently she had been sleeping fitfully because she sat up, squinting painfully as soon as I turned on the light. She seemed to be about 30 years old, small and tightly knit, with hair like dull gold. Without the puffiness under the eyes and the tension lines on her face, she would have been beautiful.
"Please turn it out," she said, almost moaning. "It hurts my eyes."
I turned off the overhead switch on a small pin-up lamp over the dresser, throwing long searching shadows through the room.
"I didn't know anyone was using this room," she said, blinking.
She sat tensely on the edge of the bed as if constantly aware of some internal tightening. She wore a filmy pale green nightgown that dropped like a curtain from the mounds of her breasts to her lap. Her nipples showed prominently through the material. Glancing down, she became aware of her body and, without any fuss, took a robe from the floor and put it about her shoulders, drawing it shut indifferently, as if it didn't matter whether I looked or not.
"I couldn't sleep in my room," she said. "I walked around the house and came in here and just lay down."
She looked at me.
"I'm Evelyn Rink," she said.
I put my shirt over the back of a chair. "Pete Mallory." Her eyes inspected me openly and with great care. She seemed to have no embarrassment. The set of her mouth and sleepy eyes reminded me of a hungry young bird.
"Yes," she said. "I knew you were coming. I've heard them talk about you."
She got up slowly, walked toward me and around me.
"I guess you want to go to bed. You must be tired."
She tilted her head slightly, looked up at me. Her lips parted and I saw her tongue against her teeth. She stepped closer to me, her fingers grasping my arms, sliding over the elbows along the flat muscles. Her fingers were long and hard, hot and dry. They tightened, relaxed. She drew her body against me, the material of the nightgown rasping softly. There was no softness about her body, no fleshiness. It was as hard as the fingers, had a feeling of strength, as if it could be used again and again with no slackening of the lean, tight muscles. I could feel her trembling, feel her warm, vaguely sweet breath come in gusts. It wasn't passion that made her tremble. Her eyes were restless and wild. She wanted me to put my hands on that body and gentle it, and then do with it as I pleased.
"Let me go to bed with you," she said. "Let me sleep with you. I really need to. I need to sleep next to a man for a change."
I took her arms and moved her away from me. She was beginning to perspire lightly. Tiny drops appeared on her forehead. Her fingers squeezed once again, then she backed away still more. Her eyes were cloudy. She didn't seem upset that I had refused her, just disappointed. In withdrawing her fingertips, she touched the scraped places along my forearms. I looked at them. They were stippled with dried blood. Most of it had washed off during my swim.
"You're hurt?" she said. "How did that happen?"
"I was trying to run away. Somebody was shooting at me." Her expressive eyebrows pressed down.
"Does that happen often?"
"No, it hasn't lately. Not since the war." She wasn't standing still now, but moving as though something inside was whipping at her. She breathed deeply. "What's your trouble?" I asked. "Nerves?"
"God, yes."
Her fingers clenched.
"God, yes."
"I know," I said. "I had the same trouble once. The war did it to me." Mrs. Rink smiled painfully.
"Wars always end. I wish something that simple could help me. I'd drink if it didn't make me sick. How I'd drink."
She looked at the pavement burns on my arms again.
"I'll get something for those," she said,
and left before I could protest. She was back before long with a white metal first aid kit. She used an antiseptic on the scrapes, doctored them with iodine.
"Better not bandage them," she said. "They'll heal faster."
I looked up to see a man standing in the doorway. He wore loose pajamas and no robe. Evelyn Rink was too engrossed in repacking the first aid kit to notice him. He was a little man, slightly built, with pale hair and a crew cut and thick glasses that made his grayish-purple eyes round and staring. His ears were big and his jaws long and hollowed beneath strong wide cheekbones. The mouth was too large for his face, and folded down at the edges when it ran out of room. The upper lip was thin and almost bloodless, slanted down from the cleft, corners fitting into deep pockets. His lips had a certain acid primness, like those of an obnoxious preacher, but his voice was firm and soft and polite, betraying no irritation from finding his wife in my room.
"I missed you, Evelyn,"
he said. He was looking at me.
"You weren't in your bed."
She was startled. She jerked around, pulling the robe together. Her fingers clamped tightly together at her belly. The small pleasure she had taken from helping me cleanse my scraped arms fled.
"I couldn't sleep, Charlie. It was warm, and I couldn't sleep. Mr. Mallory was hurt.
Rink walked toward me and offered his hand. He apparently wasn't bothered by the fact that his wife's body had been prominently visible through the nightgown under the carelessly worn robe. He shook hands with me strongly.
"I've heard a lot about you," he said, "from Macy."
His mouth told the tone of his thoughts. It stayed surly.
"Macy thinks a lot of you,"
he went on.
"I'm Charlie Rink. I suppose Macy told you about me."
"No, he didn't," I said. "I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Rink."
"Oh?"
It seemed to disturb him that Macy hadn't mentioned him.
"I guess you'll be with us for a while, Mr. Mallory."
"Probably."
"I know you want to be left alone."
He glanced at his wife.
"You're not feeling well, Evelyn?"
She shook her head. Her agitation had become worse since the sudden appearance of her husband.
"Did you have an accident, Mr. Mallory?"
Rink said, still looking at Evelyn. It was a trick he had, to look at one person and talk to another. He seemed interested. "Sort of. I'm all right." He waited for more information. When I didn't offer any, he said,
"Evelyn, a hot bath would help, wouldn't it?" I don't think so, But it has helped before, hasn't it?"
he said, taking her by the arm.
"It does relax you. Wouldn't you like to have a hot bath? I'll wash your back for you." Charlie,"
she said unhappily, her head hanging. She allowed herself to be guided toward the door.
"We'll be seeing you in the morning, Mr. Mallory,"
Rink said pleasantly. Evelyn turned to me for a moment, and there was a glitter of anguish in her eyes, of a plea that had been ignored often. She tugged with her arm, and he let her go quickly, followed her into the hall. After a moment, I shut the door and finished undressing, set the alarm for 8. It was 10 after 4 then, but I wasn't there to catch up on my sleep. End of chapter 7.